there's something that happened this week in the news, and you wanted to talk about it and cover it, and it's horrendous.
It is really bad, and some people will have seen the photograph and some people won't have. For a long time there's been animal cruelty, and in particularly in horse racing in particular. There's been a lot of accusations of it over the years. Now, I don't get too preachy about all these things. There's one that I'm definitely against and always have been, always will be, and that was fox hunting. If anyone can justify that to me, then you're an idiot, because people say it's about pest control. Well, if you phone out Rent-A-Kill to deal with a rat, they don't dress up in a weird costume and chase it round the house on horseback, do they? With trumpets, and when they catch it, go and smear a bit of rat blood on someone's face. So that doesn't hold up. Whereas horse cruelty comes from watching the Grand National every year. There's horses that break the neck that have to be executed. But you do think that the people who are at the head of the trade, at the top of the stables, who are in charge of it all, will want what's best for the horses. But it turns out some at the very top have not been very nice.
This is the image Gordon Elliott has spent more than 2 decades cultivating, that of a serial champion. At 29, he was the youngest ever Grand National winning trainer, and he's won the sport's biggest prize twice more with Tiger Roll. But this is the image he says he'll spend his whole life paying for. It shows the Irishman sat astride a dead horse. He says he sat down to take a phone call. This was just a one-off, others said. Then came this video. Amateur jockey Rob James, who rode a winner for Elliott at the Cheltenham Festival last year, also sat atop a dead horse. He claims the video was from 2016. In a statement he said, "I'd just like to apologise for my actions, which were wholly inappropriate and disrespectful, to a lovely 5-year-old mare who unfortunately suffered a sudden cardiac arrest while at exercise earlier that morning." At Newmarket, home of British horse racing, they're reeling. Often they find themselves defending horse racing against welfare concerns from outside. This feels like a betrayal from within. George has been in the sport all his working life.
I was disgusted with what I saw, and never mind background or reasons or anything. I couldn't believe what I'd seen, especially in somebody in such a high position that obviously runs a massive operation and should know better.
The timing of these stories is particularly uncomfortable, coming just 2 weeks before the start of the Cheltenham Festival, when horse racing is in the shop window. They really don't want to have to be contending with stories like this. The Irish Horse Racing Regulatory Board is investigating Gordon Elliott and Rob James, but the sports authorities are keen to stress that care like this is more indicative of the industry.
Good girl.
Our job, I think, is to try and reassure the British public that this isn't our values, this doesn't represent our industry. We don't recognise this behaviour at all.
Elliott's been dropped by his biggest sponsor and deserted by one of his biggest owners. His career hangs in the balance. Horse racing is again searching for a brighter horizon.
A brighter horizon.
He's a sick motherfucker, isn't he?
Yeah, that's
the best way of putting it. I mean, at the end of the day, I get it. There is a trade-off here where people are getting entertained by the horse racing. Yeah. People are employed by the stables. It's an industry. It's then you've got Betfair and the gambling. Oh, and by the way, I want to give you a little quote from Betfair. Yeah, you'll like this.
This to me?
Yeah, but all of us, everybody, right? Yeah. Betfair are not happy because that they had an advertising deal with that guy. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they've turned around and they've said, quote, that his actions do not coincide with the values of the Betfair organisation. So what their values? Their values.
Values.
Betfair. It's like Buddhism, is it?
Yeah.
Is it? What values are these then? What? Yeah. The values of Betfair. So you don't go to church. Go.
The church of Betfair.
Let's read the Betfair rules and regulations.
But I always think of people. I remember being a kid. I remember a certain lad who. I'll tell you a story, Mike. I'll tell you the story. He had a little fence outside his. He lived in a pub. And had a bowling green.
Yeah.
And he got a bit of a fence, a metal fence, and he got wires attached to it.
Yeah.
And then he throw frogs on it.
Oh, what an arsehole.
Yeah. Same person then later bought a gun and shot cats.
Fucking hell. What are you doing hanging around with him?
Well, I wasn't. He lived next door, but one to him.
Yeah.
And his sister was really nice looking.
Oh,
I was like, I was 10.
It's coming out
I was
now.
10.
Yeah.
But I was thinking the type of person who you hear about it all the time, people throwing fireworks at dogs and cats and all that, and that type of thing towards animals.
I don't get it.
I don't. I think that type of human being turns into a Trump.
I don't get it. I mean, I've not been attached until recently to having a pet, and believe me, I couldn't understand it when I saw people being so affectionate. But even then, because I wasn't into having a pet, I still love animals, and I still couldn't imagine doing anything to hurt one. And now I've actually got a little furry friend at home. He's I couldn't imagine it. If anything happened to him, I'd be mortified. These people. What was he gaining from posing like that, being a smartass on a dead with his phone on the dead horse? What was it? And did you see the horrible look on that horse's face? And then he's made the other guy. The horse has had a coronary, and like I say, but we're all right because it's not true to the values of Betfair. Thank you for watching. I'm impressed. You've passed the IQ test and got this far, so let's press that button to do the last thing that helps us. It's got subscribe on it, you can't miss it, and please ring the bell for notifications of future videos.